On a night like this, being out here for even a few minutes is painful, so one can only imagine just how difficult and dangerous it would be to sleep outside. Yet that's the reality for many people experiencing homelessness. Advocates say the city needs to do better when it comes to the extreme cold warning.
We saw more than 50 people sleeping outside in this incredible weather.
Street pastor Doug Johnson has been delivering sleeping bags to those experiencing homelessness over the past couple of days.
Some were out sleeping on grates and didn't have almost anything until we gave them a sleeping bag. It's heartbreaking that in such a wealthy city, we haven't solved this problem such that people aren't sleeping out in just Arctic weather.
For its part, the city says there are more than 400 new shelter and warming center beds available this winter. They add, last week the city opened 2 of its community centers, Warden Hilltop and Masaryk Cowan, as 24-hour respite sites to help respond to demand for emergency shelter space due to the cold weather and ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. They further add the city's Streets to Homes outreach teams have been dispatched to hand out blankets, sleeping bags, and warm winter clothing, and to connect with people living outside and encourage them to come indoors. The City of Toronto tells us they are currently providing shelter to more than 7,500 people each night. But according to the latest city data from 2 days ago, many of these shelters are at over 99% capacity, including warming centers, which are at 100%.
Toronto shelters were running at over 90% capacity before this pandemic began. And so when you add on these extra layers, it is super dangerous for people who are on the streets to not have access to shelter.
Dr. Nahi Dasani says he's been seeing devastating impacts on people living on the streets in this extreme cold weather due to inadequate care.
We've had people who are dealing with frostbite, people who have been sleeping out on the streets in the cold because they've not had access. It can be a very challenging and frankly dangerous scenario for people to be in. It can cause people to get very sick. It can cause people to develop frostbite, and it can even cause people to develop serious illness. There have been circumstances of people heading to the hospital and the emergency department just to obtain warmth.
Both Dasani and Johnson say the city needs to do better.
We also have to think about not just the number of spots available in terms of warming centers, but where they're located in the city, because people are experiencing homelessness in different ways. It's not all homelessness in the downtown core. Homelessness also exists in suburban areas like Scarborough.
The answer to homelessness is housing, not shelters, but you do need shelters in situations like this. There are buildings throughout the city that could be used to get people in.
Currently, the city is running 4 warming centers. If a center is full, a TTC shuttle bus is transferring people between centers in the evening up until 2 a.m. That's if there's space available at another center. For City News, I'm Maleeha Sheikh.